So some conclusions. So just to start the conclusions on this, so I explained to you about MCI, then I explained to you how I think, the relationship and how we view, audiences is different, right? Consumers, people, honesty, trust, much stronger, features, personalization, service is about relationship, very different way. How I think events is here to stay. I think events is a great tool in the digital age, so we have a bright future. That's good news. How you need to change, the mentality from thinking meetings and events and business model and not travel, logistic, tickets, hotel rooms. Very different perspective. That there's different markets, association, corporate incentives with different ways to operate them, different ways to communicate with them. But something is happening also, and you have to be aware as destinations here, so I'm addressing more the destinations. There's a little bit this, is that 65 of world economic growth by 2015 will happen in emerging economies. By 2015, economic center of gravity is moving south and east. So south is good for you, but us going very east. So for you is east as well. It's east is going a lot around, so maybe it's west from here. But what we're seeing is 100 new Chinese cities in the top 600 cities in the world. There is a lot of competition, so get organized as soon as possible to make a mark, to get your positioning, because I was in China for 15 days. On Tuesday, Shanghai Tourism was doing a meeting like this. I was a speaker. The next day, Macau Tourism was doing a speech. I was doing this. 3 days later, I was in Hong Kong with Hong Kong Tourism and meeting the president of the Hong Kong Tourism Office that is thinking about this. They're moving fast. And I was there also the week before. I was in Singapore meeting all the tourism authorities and all the politics. They're moving fast in that direction. You have competition. Get organized now before it's too late, because if you lose your positioning, it's very hard to catch up. It's better to be in the lead, I believe. Job creation. So if you're looking for jobs and you're thinking, oh, it's going to be too hard, I want to go when there's higher growth, because there's a lot of growth in this region. You might want to consider to go to some of those countries. So again, I'm just saying this to give perspective that this is coming. It's really important. I feel I have a duty to really share that information. So to summarize, adapting to the future. So events are here to stay, no problem. We don't need to think, okay, let's stop doing events. I need to change my business model. That's good. Then we are the age of speed. Timelines are getting shorter. Everything needs to be much more about business, about technology. So if you're thinking in your venues, if you don't have, we're still seeing around the world, and I'm not saying here specifically, but around the world, venues with no high-speed internet connection, way too expensive, hotels with weak connections, you cannot even do a Skype call. This is unacceptable. If you're weak on infrastructure, forget it, you don't get the business. Right? Much more business savvy, understanding the business model. So I give you some content today. Work with your, your agencies also, maybe as destinations. Partner with the agencies, go and win the business together. We really believe in partnerships. The age of speed, shorter deadlines. You will have less visibility. You need to get used to that. Technology, very important. Okay, I said that. Access point. Everything is about content. So anything that's infrastructure, again, about video conference, about getting people beamed in, through video capture, that the rooms are set up to be able to capture the content, to distribute the content in a different way. We said about interaction, about networking spaces, very important, very important. So different way to also structure. Again, I'd suggest to venues partner with your agencies, with your PCOs, your event agencies, get their feedback. Do some forums, do a client board meetings, things like that, to see how you can adapt your sales presentations. Relocalization, so things are global, but what I say very often is, the new global is going local, so definitely associations, corporations, incentives, everybody's thinking global strategy, but they're thinking local implementation or regional implementation. So this is a little bit the difference, Nothing is really global. The strategy is, but the execution, the implementation is regional or local. Very important. This is why we believe in our business model, how we build it with my father, was really to go with offices that is first, a Spanish business in Spain, a Swiss business in Switzerland, a German business in Germany, really being, about the local. The green agenda, very important. It's in the mind of a lot of the Generation Y, the audience of the future, the leaders of tomorrow, the younger age, they're thinking the green agenda, is this socially responsible? What are ways to recycle? What are you doing to save electricity? What are you doing with the food after? Are you giving it to less fortunate people and so on? Really important, the green agenda. You must have that in your strategy. Design or die, I say, everything is about beautiful going in the future. If it's beautiful, it'll get more business, and it's not beautiful. It's the Darwin theory, very simple. What did Darwin say? Darwin said, it's either a survival of the fittest, right? So survival of the strongest. But he said something else then, because then he said, why is the peacock still alive? And the peacock is one of the birds that's the oldest. And he says it's survival of the fittest or the most beautiful, right? That's what the sentence says. Often the sentence is shortened, but the full sentence is survival of the fittest or the most beautiful. So you need to have beautiful locations and venues and destinations, and really this will help you win the business. Then, what I said on the slide before, competition is growing. If you look on the venue side, competition schools are looking at diversifying their revenue, universities are looking at diversifying their revenues, and they have spaces and locations. So really any location that can hold safely, people is competition. Today, number one thing when we go and see a corporation, I want to do an event, what's your idea of the venue? They don't want us, we need to hire a boat and change the boat and put it at dock and create a venue out of it. It's about transforming, a parking into an event location. We have done all of that. It's all about, this adds to the creativity, to the design, to the style, because the environment, events is about the environment, how it influences the emotion on the people. So they're looking for different environments, a lot of new competition. And of course, also the competition are cities. So cities, like I said before, in Asia, between you guys, within the country, a lot of cities are trying to make their mark and to develop a value proposition, because meeting and events brings a lot of economic impact to a city. The people who are coming will maybe come back with their families. The people who are attending events will spend the money on site. It's generating economic, it's called the multiplier effect in economy, right? Somebody spends 100, then the next person that received the 100 will spend 90. The person who received the 90 will spend 80, and so on and so on. So really the spending is much more. So, I think that events are really definitely a great tool to get, a lot of economic value for your city, and the way you influence your politics to help you, give you funding to market and to get more events to your destination. You tell them that they will get some tax revenue, right? So this is my presentation that I wanted to share with you today. I hope it added value, and I will be happy to take questions now or after. If you want to reach me, LinkedIn, Facebook, email, and thank you very much for listening. So I think I'm seeing 2 mics on each side of the room. I would be happy to take some questions. I think we have some time still. Yes? I cannot see you very well. Okay.
Hola.
Hola.
Sebastian, what do you think Argentina lacks to attract more congresses, honestly?
What Argentina lacks to attract more congresses?
What do we need to improve?
I don't know. I mean, so I forgot to say, it's my first time in Argentina. So I'm discovering the country. I arrived yesterday at 7 in the morning. But I think Argentina is probably, just the, probably I would say just, the knowledge, like just the thinking. I believe that still today when we're talking with a lot of global, I don't know that, yet, I mean, I would say, the region in general is top of mind, or is yet to say, oh, let's go there, Maybe there's still some, some work on branding in general that could be done globally, probably just to position, yeah.
Here, Sebastian. Here.
Sorry, sorry. Yes.
Congrats for your presentation. I am so interested to know which are the main steps that a small or medium tourist destination need to consider if they are interested to include the events products as a way to reduce the seasonality.
So smaller destination is probably about really what I see is very often, I see it in my business, so it's probably the same recommendation, but really spend the time to do the research, So what type of events are available? What are the sizes? What are the added value of our destination? It's kind of really do your marketing plan until the end and not just start, okay, let's hire I see it very often, okay, let's start to get association. We hire an association person just got to see association. And then you receive a brief for 5,000 people, but you only have 2,000 hotel rooms. So, that's the typical thing we see a lot, very happy. So I would say really do the research, understanding the associations, work with ICA, the industry associations, a lot of research, what are the type of events we can receive, what are added value, how are we going to approach this, who's going to call. And I always say that life is a marathon and not a sprint. So if you're trying to win something for tomorrow, it's going to be very hard, but you need your quick wins, but think about it on the long term. Don't have a short-term strategy. It's no need to spend 2 million the first year and you say, oh, we didn't get any business, we're going to stop the next year. Spend it over the years, because you win the business with time, not in the short term. So long-term view. Any other one? Yes, up there. Okay. We close. Thank you very much.